something ethically broken about being able to issue your own unregistered security, right? They call it committing the sin of shitcoinery.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So Sam and most of the people in the crypto world were always guilty of the sin of shitcoinery, or pumping and promoting unregistered securities. And that was obvious. I think, that was obvious to the chair of the SEC, to most politicians, right? The phrase that pops up over and over again is the vast majority of all crypto tokens are unregistered securities. But I think the diabolical twist in the FTX story that none of us saw coming, but it is particularly diabolical, is so Sam creates, $8 billion worth of air token with SRM and FTT. Then he issues himself locked token, secret locked token, marks it up on his balance sheet by another $4 to $8 billion and calls it 16 billion worth of collateral. Okay. Then he goes shopping for a bank to give him a loan against this. Well, if I took $1 billion of Apple stock and I went to a legit bank, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, I say I got $1 billion of Apple stock, they would say, well, we will give you collateral value for up to the amount you have, or 5% of the daily trading liquidity on a legitimate regulated exchange. So if you show me a security that trades $1 billion a day and you have $1 billion of it, I might give you 50 million of collateral value. And that means you could borrow $25 million against it at 50% loan to value, but I'm going to margin call you if it moves a tick. So it means, practically speaking, $1 billion of that legit security is probably going to give you $10 million worth of a loan.
On $1 billion.
On $1 billion.
That's 1%.
Okay, right? Because the gating factor is, what's 5% of the trading liquidity of that token or that asset? Because if I have to dump that thing in the market, I want to sell the entire position without moving the price.
Sure.
Okay, so that's the traditional world onshore. What Sam did was generated $14 to $16 billion worth of Solana, FTT, Serum. And then he went shopping for a bank to give him a loan. But he didn't want, you wouldn't get a loan from Goldman Sachs on it. No one's going to borrow you money, at least no non-crypto company. So what he did was he went to himself. He runs a bank called FTX. He applied for a loan from himself. He granted himself the loan.
For a loan from himself.
Well,
right?
secretly applied. He didn't tell anybody, but when they say, well, Alameda had a margin account and the margin position was slightly bigger than I thought. What he means is, they pledged a few $1 billion of air token, gave themselves a $10 billion loan, and they extracted, even if he had pledged 15 billion worth of air token, giving yourself a $10 billion loan means that you gave yourself about 100x the collateral value you would have got on a regulated exchange onshore. So what he did was, in essence, extract $10 billion of real stuff, dollars, Bitcoin, saleable assets, and he pledged $10 billion worth of air token stuff. And of course, it's a double diabolical thing. Here's the problem. So I create a token. I have 300 million tokens, and then I basically trade it with myself. Like, I give it to you and you work for me and you give it back to me. Then I lean on it. So I lever it up 10 to 1. On FTX, you could lever it 20 to 1. Then I borrow your money, you're a depositor. So I take your money, you have $10 million. I lever it up 20 to 1. I have $200 million. I buy my own token. I drive my token up by $5. $5 times 300 million makes me 1.5 billion in collateral. I post the collateral, and then I withdraw $1 billion of, 100,000 people's money. I put it in Alameda, and then Alameda gives a $3.5 billion loan to Sam, right? He gave 3.3 billion to either himself or his personal family holding company. So here's the diabolical twist. I didn't just generate $10 billion of an unregistered security to dump it on the unsuspecting retail. That would take me 500 trading days, dumping 20 million a day, right? He didn't do that. What he did is he generated $10 billion in unregistered security and then just borrowed $10 billion secretly from his depositors, and then went and gambled it, traded it, spent it, lost it.
How?
I just crushed another listing appointment. You want to know how? I use this amazing
How?
And that is like, it's particularly impressive.
How do you, so here's the question. You know how he goes and he raises the 2 billion, okay? And he gets the 2 billion from not small people. He gets it from the best of the best of the best, right? You got BlackRock, you got Insight. You know the names.
Yeah.
I don't need to give you the names. You know the names. So
Major names, right?
then they don't get any seats, board seats in return. These are very, very smart people who are seeing this. Are they just as responsible for the fall of FTX as Sam Bankman-Fried?
Welcome to Coffee and Crypto, the #1 cryptocurrency morning show in the world. If you guys can hear me, drop those coffee emojis in the chat box. We're live on YouTube. We're live on all other platforms. And I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Smash that subscribe button. Subscribe to the Oh My Crypto Network, because 2023 is right around the corner. We have some really, really big things that's happening with blockchain. And you guys want to make sure that you're up to date on all the latest information. So if you're brand new to this call, I want to say welcome. All right, we'll get started in the next 5 minutes. Just going to finish up this interview and we're going to dive into this bullish content. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto. Let's get it.
The Bitcoin maximalist would say that the problem in crypto is greed, arrogance, and foolishness. Okay. Anybody that's investing in it is either greedy, arrogant, or foolish. So there's 3 constituencies that got taken for billions of dollars here. The VC investors put $2 billion into an offshore exchange. The exchange, just to be clear, was unethical and illegal from the very beginning. It's illegal to do what they did in the US, and it's unethical if you think I'm front running my customers, issuing a token, manipulating the price of the token, dumping it on them.
If
right?
you did that in stocks, you're going to jail if you front run.
It's absolutely illegal.
Yeah.
Right. FTX was its own regulator, its own market maker, its own exchange, the issuer, right? All at the same time. This is such a and the hedge fund. Too much conflict of interest. So, but the 3 constituencies are the VC that put the $2 billion into FTX. They were supporting basically an offshore, unregulated casino, running in opaque fashion, account of the interest of its own customers. They didn't ask for a board seat. They didn't do due diligence. They were chasing what they thought was insane gains, right? FTX is showing a company that goes from 50 million in revenue to 500 million in revenue to $1 billion in revenue. And they thought they just had the next great thing. So, Sam lies that any con, right, is like, I think I'm getting a deal that's too good to be true. And the con man is lying to me. We're all lying to each other. And so that's the first 2 billion goes down the drain. There's another 4 billion or something like that in just loans made by, crypto industry. I think Alameda borrowed hundreds of millions and billions of dollars from Genesis, from 3 Arrows, from Voyager, from Celsius, from, BlockFi, et cetera. So it's like if you start with this fiction that FTT is a real thing. If I create, again, like yo-yo token and I manipulate the price up to $10 billion by trading 2% of the float, if you think it's a real thing and I act like it's a real thing, then I pledge it as collateral and you give me real stuff for an air thing. And so there's like $4 billion of that. And they went and they lost half of that. That was part of the reason that Voyager and BlockFi going bankrupt. And the reason that Sam wanted to bail them out is he didn't want to actually have the loans called, right? He was actually trying to buy BlockFi and buy Voyager with FTX equity, which of course is fraudulent and worth nothing. But if I borrowed $1 billion from a company and they want the money back and I can simply give them $1 billion of equity, take over the company and not pay the loan back, I can roll the entire fraud forward. So that's the second. The third is, this is also diabolical. FTX said, we're built by traders for traders. And Sam bragged that they only charge like 3 basis points trading fee. And he was 30 times cheaper than Coinbase or much cheaper than Binance. So he's stealing customers off of the other crypto exchanges by, in essence, offering near free trading. He's not trying to make money off the trading. He's trying to actually get the assets on his platform, because once he had the assets on his platform, he basically used FTX like his own personal piggy bank. It's like there's $10 billion there. Everybody else is going to get wiped out if their margin positions trade down 20% for a minute. except Alameda. Alameda has God mode. They never get margin called. So in an exchange, like in the US, it's illegal to go more than 50% loan to value. That means you're kind of like, you start with $1 million, you borrow 500,000, you're 1.5x levered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, FTX started with 100x leverage, and then they backed it down to the responsible 20x leverage, which means that you post $1 million and you can take a $20 million position.
Okay. Who allows that?
Now, here's the insane. What if I put $1 billion of air token, FTT, on the exchange? I recognize you and I let you take a $10 billion bet. Like, whatever, you took a $10 billion bet. Now you withdraw $4 billion of real cash and you use that to buy property and buy everything under the sun. So Sam, basically, he scraped billions from unsuspecting investors in Silicon Valley. They should have known better. He took billions from crypto hedge funds and crypto banks like BlockFi and Voyager. They should have known better.
Mm-hmm.
And then he took probably 10 billion or more from depositors on his exchange. They have the best argument. It's like they were staring at terms and conditions that said he's not going to rehypothecate or use their assets. And he just, he lured them with the promise of cheap trading, high leverage. And, if you thought, well, Sam is manipulating the price of FTT and Serum and Solana, and he was, right? That's illegal and unethical, right? It's a pump and dump scheme. We talked about this before. But if you accept the idea that crypto tokens that are issued by some offshore, dude are okay, then you're thinking, well, I guess I want to go buy some of that and get behind Sam and Alameda because they're going to drive the price up. And I think Solana went from, $3 to, what did it go to 50? It went way up. And FTT.
Man, listen, I am flabbergasted at the reason. I mean, literally, guys, let me come up here. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto. We are live in all platforms right now. If you're tuning in on YouTube, man, make sure you smash that subscribe. And I want to say thank you to the 3 people that just subscribed to the YouTube channel. It definitely helps us as we're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. That way we're able to start monetizing the show, getting some great sponsors. I've been in talk with some sponsors, people who I'm looking to sponsor the show, coffee companies, all types of stuff, man. So as we continue to grow this show, man, just please share this out. Let someone know and just say, hey, just subscribe and watch a video and just enjoy the content, because I'm not going to lie. I put a lot of hours into this information. I put a lot of hours into crafting up good shows for you guys to just make sure that you're staying on track. And I want to say thank you to everybody that takes the time to hop on. I know it's 10 a.m. I know it's early. I know some people are at work, but I appreciate you for taking the sacrifice and just being here and being present. Because without you, we have no show. So with that being said, guys, Coffee and Crypto, the reason why we started this show is to really dive deep into the research, to show you guys how to do the research, how to become an expert in the space, and how to really become an expert for yourself. Look, I'm an expert for me. I'm not an expert for the space. I'm an expert for myself, because I know for a fact that if I don't get this information, I can't help me. And I know for a fact that this industry is the next growing industry. I cannot make this stuff up, family. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I have some content today. I have some articles, some things that I've been able to dig up, find, and I'm gonna tell you guys straight like this. This industry is not going anywhere. And if you think it is, you have something else. All right, you have something else coming for you. All right, Michael Saylor's tripping. Okay, Michael Saylor is absolutely bugging out. He's a Bitcoin maximus, and I have some video content that I want to show. Now, that was just the beginning clip, him talking about the FTX thing. And, we're still dealing with Sam Bankman-Fried still running free. BitBoy Crypto, a lot of other crypto influencers have went down there. They've lobbied, and they've protested, and still no cigar, So I'm not understanding what is going on, but I believe Maxine Waters is trying to step in now and really bring this man to the United States. And I don't think he's going to hop on a Delta flight. I don't think he's going to hop on American Airlines. I definitely don't think he's hopping on Spirit to get here. All right. I do believe that we're going to have to bring this man in cuffs to the United States, and we're going to have to send our people out there to go and get him. So with that being said, let's dive into this bullish content today. This is episode number 61. and we're going to dive into this. So CoinMarketCap, looking at the overall market of CoinMarketCap right now, we're sitting at $853 billion still. So we really haven't seen anything. And I saw a tweet today that was kind of interesting. It actually said that we won't see another bull run until Gary Gensler, until the CFTC, until somebody establishes some form of regulation for the United States and also global regulation. We will not see another bull run until that regulation comes. And I believe that that was, just reading that tweet, I believe that that was very, very true. And that was a very great hypothesis as to when we'll see the next bull run. So until then, my recommendation to each and every single one of you all, and this is not advice on a financial tip, but I recommend that you do as much research as you can about these different assets, specifically utility coins, Now, Bitcoin sitting at 16,000, right under 17, almost 17 grand. We're up 3% on that one. Ethereum sitting at about 12 and a half right now. Okay. Tether still at $1. USDC is still at $1. And we have XRP coming in at 38 cents. And as you all can see, I mean, it's pretty much still the same top 10. So no coins have really flipped any other coins. Well, actually, Tether's number 3 right now. So that's kind of surprising to see. However, we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks, because as the crypto world has been feeling, Tether will be the next big thing to collapse. I don't know if that's going to happen, but from the research that we've done, I believe that it's possible. Now, I want to start with this right here. I want to say rest in peace to these 4 crypto billionaires. This has been surfacing all over the internet. A couple people have been sending me this. I mean, people have been sending me this more than they've been sending me other stuff. I'm like, yo, are y'all focused? Like, it's crazy how people focus on the negative stuff and don't ever focus on what's really happening in the industry. It's kind of crazy. So people have been sending me this, back to back. Like, yo, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Look, I don't get into the conspiracy stuff. All right. I don't know. I'm not really a conspiracy theorist. So I couldn't really tell you what's happening, but I know for a fact that 4 billionaires have winded up dead over the last month. All right. And so the last one has winded up dead inside of Puerto Rico. They said that he drowned somewhere on the beach. Now, this first guy right here, Nicole Mushigian, I can't really say his name, but he was 29 years old. He drowned in Puerto Rico on October 29th. After tweeting that the CIA and Mossad were after him. The young tech millionaire was troubled with mental issues. His family say there is no foul play involved, and that had been in a spiral. So if you can see this little thing, he says CIA and Mossad and pedo elite, the pedo elite are running some kind of sex trafficking, entrapment, blackmail ring out of Puerto Rico and the Caribbean islands. They are going to frame me with a laptop planted by my ex-girlfriend who was a spy. They will torture me to death. That was his last tweet. That tweet came out October 26th. All right, let's continue to push forward. You got this right here, broker Javier Biosca, who was at the center of Spain's biggest probe into the cryptocurrency fraud, was found dead at a golf complex in Estepona, all right, on Tuesday morning, November 22nd. Then we have this guy right here, all right, this founder right here. I definitely, I'm gonna try to say his name, Tian, all right, founder of Amber Group, died unexpectedly, all right, on November 23rd in his sleep. 30 years old. I'm 30. He just passed away in his sleep. Okay. He founded Amber Group in 2017, which is valued at $2.4 billion. Then you got this guy right here, which is one of the latest ones, crypto billionaire. All right. Mr. Turan, okay, died in a mysterious helicopter crash on November 25th after another passenger cancels last minute. He had 2 children, a wife, and was worth $20 billion. Okay, I don't know if they're faking their deaths. I don't know what happened. All right, look, I don't want to major in that. However, what I will tell you is that it is fishy, it is weird, and maybe they need to send Scooby-Doo out there, and the Scooby team to go and figure this out. All right. But outside of that, on to other news. Came out December 3rd of 2022. Ledger X. All right, not Ledger, not the ledger that you put your cryptos on, but Ledger X is up for sale with interest from blockchain.com, Gemini, and a lot of other companies. All right, this is a crypto derivatives exchange. We are in the season of acquisitions. Okay, back in early 2000s, you all remember many companies started acquiring other companies, and that's exactly what's happening in the cryptocurrency space right now. So we can see that Ledger X, the company, is looking to be acquired. Okay, they are regulated by the U.S. Commodities Futures and Trading Commission. It has been a subsidiary of FTX US since October 2021. Ledger X is one of the few solvent entities remaining in the FTX group of companies for now. Okay, for now. Okay, Twitter directed messages sent to both Ledger X and the CEO were not returned by press time. Ledger X is planning to make $170 million available for use in FTX's bankruptcy proceedings. Okay, it would come from a $250 million fund Ledger X was planning to use for a CFTC application aimed at getting regulatory approval to clear crypto derivatives trades without intermediaries. All right, so right now we are seeing many companies being acquired. A lot of the companies that's being acquired were connected directly to FTX and FTX US and Alameda Research. Okay, and speaking of FTX US, this is a tweet that was sent out by Maxine Waters. All right, it's crazy how our politicians use Twitter. They use Twitter so much. I got to sip my tea. Okay. They use Twitter so much more than they use any other platform. She says, Sam Bankman-Fried, she actually tags him. She says, we appreciate that you have been candid in your discussions about what happened at FTX. Your willingness to talk to the public will help the company's customers, investors, and others. To that end, we would welcome your participation in our hearing on the 13th, which is a couple of days away. So they're expecting for Sam Bankman-Fried to just show up willingly to the United States, all right, to come to a hearing, to maybe then lock him up or to figure out what needs to happen to him. Now, if I was Sam Bankman-Fried, I know I wouldn't voluntarily just be pulling up. You know what I mean? Like, hey, it's a lot of heat. I wouldn't voluntarily be pulling up. I wouldn't. And so I know if I wouldn't, I can only imagine how he's feeling. And so he actually responded back to her tweet. He says, Representative Waters in the House of Committee on Financial Services, once I have finished learning and reviewing what happened, I would feel like it was my duty to appear before the committee and explain. I'm not sure that will happen by the 13th, but when it does, I will testify. So he basically said, forget what y'all talking about. I'm not pulling up. I'm not coming. Okay. So he responded back through Twitter. So now they're having this Twitter back and forth thing. All right. Instead of them just going over there and getting them. Now, let's continue to push forward. She replies back to Sam Bankman-Fried. She puts a period first. Then she puts his name and says, based on your role as CEO and your media interviews, because he's literally over the past couple of weeks, he's been on Twitter Spaces. He's been on Good Morning America. All right. So he don't mind talking to Twitter Spaces and Good Morning America, but he's doing it from his multi-million-dollar condo, his $30 million condo in the Bahamas, right? I would do it there too. I'm comfortable. I'm chilling, right? So based on your role, it's clear to us that the information you have thus far is sufficient for testimony. All right. Now she's not being too nice now because she said she gave him a choice. He said he's not pulling up. All right. And so she says, as you know, the collapse of FTX has harmed over 1 million people. Your testimony would not only be meaningful to members of Congress, but is also critical to the American people. It is imperative that you attend our hearing on the 13th. And we are willing to schedule continued hearings if there is more information to be shared later. So again, now Tony Edwards, Thinking Crypto Podcast, said they need to pull up and do this. It says time to stop tweeting and go bring him to the US. I agree with Tony. I believe they just need to pull up on that man. They need to kick the door in and they need to go and get him. But you know what? He too gets a free pass. She said, get him, Auntie Maxine. Facts. All right. Now, let's continue to push forward. Now, these are a couple of other clips from the Patrick David and Michael Saylor interview that they just had. All right. And I want to play these couple of threads right here because this is going to lead me into the rest of the information that I have to share with you all today. But we got to get through these videos. So drop some coffee emojis. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Don't click off of this because you don't want to miss any of this information. Listen up.
Okay, the CFTC would regulate if you were trading soybeans or pork bellies or
commodities,
oil or
anything commodities. Got it.
Okay, a commodity is an asset without an issuer. Okay, a commodity is a much more ethical thing to promote and to trade than a security. A security is yo-yo coin or penny stock. I invented it. The difference between a security and a commodity is if I looked at you right now and said, you know, I don't like people in Japan. I'm just going to turn off all their steel. I can't do that, right? I can't make steel not work in Japan. I can't turn off electricity in Japan or turn off oranges, right? So a commodity is an asset without an issuer. No matter how much money you have of pork bellies or lumber, you cannot invalidate somebody else's lumber. Okay, and that's why it's impossible to commit securities fraud.
Is that because those are natural resources?
On a commodity.
These are natural resources, everything, lumber, pork, everything.
Because they're again, it's land, right? If I said to you, buy land in Texas, and I was wrong, okay? It's like I didn't create the land in Texas. I can't remove the land in Texas. But what if I said, buy Texas coin? There's only 1 million Texas coins. It's going up. And then you buy Texas coin. And then I go and I give myself 10 million more unlocked Texas coin. I dump it on the market. The price goes to zero. Now, do you feel like you got cheated? You see how it's possible to cheat you with a security because I can manipulate the characteristics of the security. A security is an asset with an issuer. So if you have an asset with an issuer, like for example, a publicly traded stock, like MicroStrategy, MSTR is an asset with an issuer. I have ethical civil obligations, right? You know, if I lie about it, I can't just say, I'm not even say what I'm going to say, right? I don't even talk about it. I wouldn't tell you to buy it or not buy it. I would say, read our disclosures. There's 1,000 pages of risk factors, everybody on the board of directors, everything.
All right. So he's talking about securities versus commodities, right? And so let's continue to push forward. All right, because he talks about how these things can be manipulated, but he continues to attack altcoins, but he's so bullish on Bitcoin. And I wonder why. Let's keep listening.
The fundamental point of what are those assets? Some of those assets are crypto commodities. A crypto commodity is a token without an issuer that cannot be manipulated by some CEO or corporation or other party, right? There are cryptocurrencies like Tether and Circle. They are actually tokens meant to represent the US dollar or some other stable asset. They have an issuer. And generally, they're going to be regulated as securities and as currencies by the banking establishment, the SEC. Then there's crypto securities, Solana, FTT, Serum. Those were all securities. They had an issuer. There were companies behind them. There were CEOs behind them. People could make more of them. People can destroy them. There are some people, insiders, that had disproportionate interest in them. Those could only be ethically sold to the general public pursuant to a full and fair disclosure, right? And this is common sense, right? If you create something and you dump it on the general population, you have an ethical obligation to tell them who made the decision, how much is there, what is your background? What's going to happen next? That's what you do when you take a company public. So coming back to this crypto issue, you had a little war between the two factions. And the right answer is, if you're selling a crypto security, it should be regulated by the SEC. If you have a crypto commodity, then it's not a security. Now the question is, what's a crypto commodity? The chair of the SEC has said the only crypto asset that's clearly a commodity is Bitcoin. The chair of the CFTC had said, as of a few months ago, the only crypto assets that are commodities are Bitcoin and Ether. But Ethereum's not really a commodity. Ethereum is a security, and that has been a big fight in the community below the surface. As of last Wednesday, the chair of the CFTC went to Princeton, gave a speech and said, the only crypto asset which I deem as commodity is Bitcoin. So now you have the CFTC and the SEC and certain other regulators, the head of Treasury.
Okay, so let's actually
The fundamental point of
let's actually go to a different video. I think that's pretty interesting. And I actually want to show you guys this video. I had it before, but I'm going to go to this guy right here's page, the digital asset investor. He kind of hit it straight on the head right here. And a lot of you all remember when I showed this video episodes ago about who owns Bitcoin. So he's so listen to this part of the interview with Michael Saylor. All right, listen to this part of the interview. And you guys tell me how you feel about this.
If you want a crypto asset to be a commodity, you can't rely upon 4 engineers, a company, a CEO. If a person can make a decision, it's not a commodity anymore.
We looked at Bitcoin was the most prevalent at that point. We had seized quite a bit of it, millions of dollars worth under the Silk Road investigation. So one of our agents who started looking at another online marketplace through the deep web, which was called Black Market Reloaded, they were sending weapons through packages and ordering them on the dark web. And he was really, really smart, forward-leaning agent. And he goes, I want to go interview Satoshi Nakamoto. And we're like, what? He said, yeah, I want to go interview this guy. And at the time, we were like, hey, it's a figment of somebody's imagination. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not true. So, we had all this pushback from our headquarters. And we thought, hey, if an agent wants to go talk to him and we have some money, why don't we send him? Let's find out how this works. So as it came to be, the agents flew out to California and they realized that he wasn't alone in creating this. There were 3 other people and they sat down and met with them and talked to them to find out how this actually works and what the reason for it was.
Wow. So completely opposite of what he's talking about. So the question is, why is Michael Saylor not demanding to know who the 4 Satoshi people were that Homeland Security met with? This would blow up his entire Bitcoin thesis, thus blowing up the investments of his shareholders. Due diligence owed the shareholders any one MicroStrategy. If we click on MicroStrategy, okay, they are a publicly traded company. It's the world's leading enterprise analytics platform, and it's the largest public company holder of Bitcoin. All right, now, who is Michael Saylor in regards to MicroStrategy? Well, let's go look. He's the chairman of the board of directors. They are the largest asset holder of Bitcoin. So, of course, he's going to protect Bitcoin. Then you go to their website, and it's the only thing out of all of these enterprise analytics, embedded analytics, solutions, events, blah, blah, blah. It's the only thing that's lit up with some color. So then we click on Bitcoin right here, and they have an entire page. It says Bitcoin is a bank in cyberspace run by incorruptible software, offering a global, affordable, simple, and secure savings account to billions of people that don't have the option or desire to run their own hedge fund. These are multiple videos by Michael Saylor. You can go to their website and you can see why he's protecting this. Their website says Bitcoin is hope. Their website is called hope.com. Hope.com. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Hold on. I gotta see how long this video is because I didn't even watch this video, but y'all already know how we do here. I gotta kind of get off track and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna bring it back real quick. But let me see how long this video is. Nah, this is 7 minutes. We're not gonna spend 7 minutes watching this, but this came out a year ago. I'll actually share this with you all inside of the comments here on Zoom. I'll share this with you all here. And then also, and then I'll also drop this video. I'll drop this inside of the comment section inside of the YouTube video as well. However, MicroStrategy is a leading innovator and also a huge supporter of Bitcoin. So I can understand how he's trying to protect this, but again, it's not right. Now, let's continue to push forward. OCC. The OCC is the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. Okay, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency is the primary regulator of banks chartered under the National Bank Act and the Federal Savings Association charter under the Homeowners Loan Act of 1933. Okay, so why am I talking about the OCC? Well, there is a document that I want to pull up really fast for you all. And it's a Ripple document from May 30th of 2016. And I'm actually going to go ahead and pull this up for you all. Drop some coffee emojis if y'all can see this. Okay, now, May 30th of 2016, all right, by electronic submission, this came from Ripple itself. It says the office, they sent this to the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the OCC. So it says, ladies and gentlemen, it explained what Ripple is. It says Ripple is a technology company that provides financial institutions with real-time cross-border payment solutions. Ripple specializes in distributed financial technology, including shared ledgers and open protocols. We believe such tools can enable a more efficient payment system, reduce friction between different currencies, and broaden access to financial services. All right, innovation in the federal banking system often results from the convergence of 3 different domains. What are those domains? Financial institutions, technology, and regulations. Financial institutions are already here. Financial institutions are already excited about the technology of Ripple. That's why Ripple has partnerships with so many different, with over 30 central banks, multiple private banks, and public banks as well, and public companies, right? So, it talks about the 3 things that's going to converge to bring this federal banking system and the innovation together is, number 1, the financial institutions. Then the financial institutions finding the technology that they deem that's going to help them. Then the 3rd thing is regulation. The thing that we're missing, we have the technology, we have the financial institutions here, but the regulation. The regulatory framework is a crucial aspect of innovation. They've been talking about this since 2016. When crafted in a balanced, proactive way, regulations can be a driver of innovation and market competition. Yet, when regulatory frameworks are poorly crafted or not given necessary attention, they can directly restrict innovation. That is exactly what's happening here. So there's 2 challenges and 2 viewpoints in response to the OCC's paper and questions. Ripple highlights existing challenges to innovation. All right, so this is their response to a paper that the OCC put out, right? Challenge number 1, inconsistent and uncoordinated regulatory approaches, which we all can agree on. Challenge number 2, fragmented, outdated licensing regimes, which we can all agree on. Their viewpoint number 1, international coordination is essential for many new technologies. International coordination, right? Viewpoint number 2, consider the unique design of each technology when assessing risk. Now, I highlighted a couple things. Challenge number 1 is the inconsistent and uncoordinated regulatory approaches, which is really big in the United States. For startups and small companies, typically the drivers of innovation, time is one of the most valuable and scarce resources. Time spent resolving conflicting regulatory opinions or awaiting regulatory coordination detracts from resources that could be spent developing new technology. In many instances, such uncertainty and delays can jeopardize the company's lifespan. But actually, let's go here, right? So although most companies would have been out the game by now, all right, but Ripple is not one of them. All right, I'm gonna tell y'all, Ripple, the company, is not one of them. And I gotta pull this up. They are not one of them to play with. All right, although they're being sued by the SEC and the CFTC is stifling innovation in the US with these assets. All right, check this out. The job of a lifetime is calling. This is 13 hours ago on the Ripple Twitter. We're hiring engineers to help us build robust, scalable, and innovative crypto solutions to deliver best-in-class solutions for our customers, right? They're hiring a senior director of engineering and a senior staff software engineer. So this is the job of a lifetime for someone that wants to get into crypto. So although all these other companies are crashing, there's companies out here right now that are, Twitter being one of them, that are lowering their staff. They are firing people more than they're hiring people. You got Ripple that's continuing to put out jobs for people around the world to work in Web3 and cryptocurrency. So Ripple is a startup company, okay? And it's not really a small company, but it's a startup company, all right? And so most of these startup companies, especially new crypto companies that don't have the type of backing and money that Ripple has from over the years, what you're going to notice is that all of them are going to start getting acquired. They're going to start getting acquired. We're in the acquisition season. After acquisition, then comes regulation. After regulation, then comes bullish momentum. So I'm tired of hearing influencers talking about, oh, I'm tired of getting on Twitter and influencers talking about, oh, when's the next bull run? The next bull run comes after the acquisition phase is done. After the acquisition phase is done, then we have to go to regulation. Once regulation actually happens, then we have a bull run. It doesn't happen any other way. It doesn't happen any other way. And we already know that Solana and all these other coins that pumped, like XRP didn't even pump like that, guys. We only saw $1 and something. Solana went from $3 to over $50 before regulation. Why? Because of all of the Ponzi schemes that was happening with FTX over the years, and we knew nothing about it. All the pump and dumps, all of these were pump and dumps. And there's people that got rich. I know people that got rich off of this stuff. Congratulations to y'all. But for the people that's coming in now, the people that's getting serious now, there's no more pump and dumps that's happening, family. You don't see meme coin, like the meme coin era is done. What era are we in now? We're in utility season. It's time to pack your bags for regulation, because when regulation happens, utility will go online. On-demand liquidity will go online with Ripple. This is what's going to save us. Challenge number 2, fragmented and outdated licensing regime. Okay? Some of the technology companies seeking to work with banks face a highly fragmented regulatory regime, making processes such as licensing for money transmission very cumbersome. All right, for startups, small companies, and businesses with broad reach. We believe that this fragmentation poses a competitive disadvantage for the US and undermines our position as a leader in financial innovation. To keep the United States competitive and a driver of innovation, policymakers should develop a coordinated national standard for products and services that have national or global reach. It is imperative, the same word that Maxine Waters used for Sam Bankman-Fried. All right, Bankman-Fried, Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay, it is imperative that the United States create an environment that supports innovation in a safe and compliant manner, streamlining balkanized registration, requirements via national standards would remove many unnecessary inefficiencies, and inconsistencies in our regulatory system. Okay. So this is what we are dealing with. This entire, I mean, you can find this online, guys. I recommend that y'all go and read this. However, in conclusion, they said the OCC has undoubtedly made great strides in considering a well-defined framework for responsible innovation. Given the crucial impact regulation has on innovation, the OCC's, the Office of Comptroller of the Currency, leadership will help ensure the United States remains competitive. We urge the OCC and other regulatory bodies in the U.S. to work collectively to build a regulatory regime that drives innovation and competition while ensuring safety and security. Okay, this was from the Director of Regulatory Relations, Ryan Zagon, back in May of 2016. I wanted to share that with you all to show you that this is a continued fight. Ripple has been fighting the good fight. Somebody dropped fighting the good fight. All right. Ripple has been doing that. They've been fighting the good fight. And this is breaking news right here. All right. From James K. Filan. All right. One of the lawyers. Ripple has filed its redacted reply to the SEC's opposition to Ripple's motion for summary judgment. All right. This is it. This is it right here. Now, this article is super long. All right. And it says Ripple, this is somebody's perspective right here. It says Ripple points out exactly what the SEC is doing to twist the Howey test in this case. All right. It says, let's just read this real quick together. The SEC is wrong. You cannot interpret a statute without considering its words. You cannot interpret words in a statute that crystallizes prior cases without considering those cases. And you cannot take a single sentence from the Howey test and apply it out of its context. That's exactly what they're doing. Why? Because they don't know enough about blockchain. They don't understand it enough. And I want you to understand the type of leader that we have here at Ripple. All right. Brad Garlinghouse that has come out and said, I said it on day one, we will aggressively fight to get clear rules for the entire industry in the US. Congrats to all of Team Ripple for getting us to this point. Ripple stood strong and withstood the SEC's onslaught. I look forward to being on the right side of justice. Ripple is fighting the good fight. I believe that's going to be the name of this video right here. Ripple has been fighting the good fight. So with that being said, that is the end of today's episode. That's all the content I had. Before you go, before you leave, before you click off, make sure that you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm literally trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I can't do it without you just taking the time to just press the button. Just please subscribe. All right. I know y'all tired of hearing me say it, so subscribe. There it is right there in the Zoom chat. And if you're tuning in or you're catching this later on, make sure you smash that subscribe button. And don't just subscribe, but turn on the notification bell. All right. 2023 will be a big year for the Oh My Crypto Network. I got the vision when Kevin Hart talked about Heartbeat Production. I want to tell you guys exactly where this came from. Kevin Hart talked about Heartbeat Production. And if you guys noticed, Netflix picked up all of Kevin Hart's movies, right? That I have a dream as big as Kevin Hart's. The Oh My Crypto Network will be one of the largest networks in the world when it comes to cryptocurrency. All right. We will have so many different shows on this network starting in 2023. So many different people will be tuning into this network, guys. And what I'm creating is literally the Heartbeat Productions of the cryptocurrency space. It's called the Oh My Crypto Network. We make you say OMC on the show and OMG at the same time. So with that being said, y'all know how we like to do it at the end. YouTube, stick around for the Q&A, but we're about to do a Q&A session now. And if anybody has one thing you like, learn to love, feel free here on the Zoom to smash, to go ahead and raise your hands. And I will call on you if you have anything that you want to share, anything that you found interesting from today's show. All righty. So I don't see anybody has anything to say. So with that being said, I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see y'all on the next episode. Have a blessed